Coming up on this episode of DL Weekly, we are coming to you from inside of Disney California Adventure.
We have a wonderful view of Radiator Springs Racers, and you can probably hear some familiar music if you've ever eaten at Flo's, because we are sitting on the back patio right now. It's gorgeous.
It is a very, very nice... It's hot, but it's great in the shade.
Yes, there is a breeze, thankfully, but some of the queues that don't have shade are a little toasty.
Yes. So we're going to talk about our first couple days in the park. So I will start because I got here the day before Teresa got here because we got in a little bit early. James and I, of course, as we've said on the show before, are doing kind of a road trip, and we arrived here early on one of the days. Anyway, so we got checked into our hotel. We stayed at the Howard Johnson Anaheim, which we stayed at them for D23. They're a great hotel. We highly recommend them. Mm-hmm. They're remodeled rooms. Two of their towers, which are the only ones they're actually putting anybody in at the moment, are both fully remodeled, which is super awesome. So we got checked in there, and James and I kind of got settled in. James graded some work and stuff. I kind of just got settled, and we went over to Downtown Disney. And Downtown Disney was great. Again, it was a little bit hot. Crowds weren't too bad. We just kind of hung out and went around. We went through World of Disney, which of course was always great. There's all types of stuff going on at World of Disney. I didn't really see a lot of merchandise or anything that I was too interested in. But we kind of headed through. We stopped at... James was very excited to stop at Star Wars Trading Post because that's the first time he's been over there. He thought that was really cool. We looked at some of the lightsabers and everything. We went over to the Disneyland Hotel and walked around the grounds there. We saw some area where Teresa's going to be getting married soon. We didn't get to see the exact spot because they're replenishing the grass. Is that what you said?
Yeah, so I think what my wedding planner told me was that they're picking up and they're doing some... Instead of it, doing the returfing, basically.
Oh. We did that for a little bit, and then we met up with our community manager, Kate, and we had lunch at Earl of Sandwich. We also met a couple weekly tiers and talked with them for a little while. We didn't have a lot to do that day, so we kind of just hung out. It was very pleasant. We looked at some of the summer... They have those art installations where if you look at them from the side, it looks really cool.
I want to say, when did they have those installed before? They had them before, maybe 3 years ago. Maybe it was 2 years ago.
They were there for D23.
I was going to say, I think it was there for D23.
Yeah, so super, super cool. Like I said, we ate lunch at Earl of Sandwich. We just kind of walked around, hung out, and then Teresa was texting me because her vacation was not starting off quite as magical as our trip had started.
Yeah, you're probably wondering where Vern and I were for all of this. Well, Vern and I had plans to fly out on Friday afternoon to get here in California on Friday kind of night. Anyway, so basically, long story short, our first flight got canceled and we didn't have access to our baggage, so we were kind of stuck at the airport. It was just our local airport for way too long, and we were lucky enough to get on a flight. We had to switch airlines to get into California early on Saturday morning because, of course, Saturday was the 17th. We did not want to miss... We really don't want to miss any, but we didn't want to miss too much of Disneyland's birthday. So we flew in on an earlier flight. I'll be really honest, we got 4 hours of sleep last night. We woke up at 1:30 that morning to drive to our airport that was 2 hours away, get on the plane, landed in California in LA at 8 a.m. Tage and James picked us up. We got in to the hotel because I said, guys, we need a shower because it's been a day already. So showered, got ready for the parks, and I think we were going through the turnstiles by 10 a.m., so it was not bad. However, it was a long day.
It was a long day, but I will say the very interesting thing was we had a boarding group for Rise of the Resistance, and because of timing, we got called and we had to shoot. Now, you guys who've listened to us for a long time know we always go left. Yeah. We have a whole thing. We were so screwed up because we had to start back in Galaxy's Edge at Rise, which for those of you I'm sure wondering, I had a much better time on Rise this time. It flowed a lot better. It just seemed just nice. It was great to be on the attraction, but we kind of ended up back in Galaxy's Edge. So we did Rise. We waited for a long time for, of course, a Ronto wrap. But Teresa and I think we're both kind of feeling a little disheveled and kind of out of sorts.
Super disheveled. A, because of the flight situation, but then yes, B, not attacking the park the normal way was really, really strange. And not being there right away in the morning. And the big thing for me, too, is I wasn't able to get coffee because the line was crazy long and we were trying to get back for our boarding group. So it was just the pieces were not falling into place, but we were just so happy to be in Disneyland and to be there for the 66th anniversary. We did get some different bits of Disney magic throughout the day, which of course we will go talk about later as well.
Yeah, so we had our Ronto wrap. Teresa actually found us our table, and it was kind of funny because she had one little seat and had to collect some more seats for all of us to sit at, but she did a great job. I said,
probably very sad looking.
Yes. It took like 45 minutes for us to get a Ronto wrap, but we were in the shade. It was great. So we decided to go on the Millennium Falcon. We met up with one of our listeners, Sammy, and so we had a full cabin because it was me and Teresa and producers James and Vern and community manager Kate, and Sammy joined us. So we had a full cockpit to ourselves, and it was so cool. Everybody had fun. Kate and James, who had not ridden the attraction before, piloted. Well, they had a lot of fun piloting the Falcon. Teresa, what were you?
Vern and I were the gunners.
Yeah.
Which that was the first time I'd been a gunner before, so that was different. It was much more exhausting for my arm than I thought it was going to be. So I had to switch arms like halfway through, still fun.
One of the beginning times of it being our arms, because we've had quite arm workout on this trip, which we'll get into probably a little bit later, but a lot of arm workout. So we did pretty good on Smuggler's Run. So we left Galaxy's Edge and we went over and rode Big Thunder Mountain. Again, our day is totally off. We're all over the place. Big Thunder had a very short wait. I want to say a lot of the attractions on that first day weren't too bad for waits. There was only a couple attractions that were really like long waits.
Which was really surprising because with it being a Saturday and also Disneyland's 66th birthday, there was a lot of people. There was a lot of people there celebrating because it was 17th, but then also because it was Saturday. So we were kind of surprised at how busy the park was. We were hoping that it was going to be a little bit more calm and chill, but no, it's much more busy than we were expecting.
Did you feel that they're back to like full capacity at this point? Is that what it felt like to you?
I don't know if I'd say full capacity. I don't know. We were talking about this, and I don't know if it felt like full capacity or not. Kate, who was an annual pass holder and local, so she came frequently, said that, oh no, this is not full capacity. There's definitely been more people when she's been here before, in the before times. But I'm just thinking maybe there weren't any reservations left. And I'm also wondering what DCA felt like on Saturday the 17th, because I wonder if all the guests were flocking to Disneyland instead of DCA.
Yeah. I thought, when we came for D23, I thought it was pretty busy as well. And I don't know why. I think what I'm finding is that it's, to me anyway, my perception of things is kind of tainted by the fact that the sun is just so hot. Now, the air temperature, like right now, well, it's a little warm now. The air temperature is 88, but in the sun it feels much, much warmer. We're in the shade. I'm actually pretty comfortable right now.
And there's a breeze.
There is a breeze. Now, one of the things, too, before we get kind of too far in our thing is we did make a list of food this time. We made a list of things we wanted to do, and actually everybody listening should be very proud of us because we're doing pretty good at getting through all of our food.
We are.
So hurrah for that one. Of course, after Big Thunder Mountain, we went over and we rode Snow White's Enchanted Wish, which I thought was great.
I was really, really impressed. The enhancements that they did for that attraction plussed it just so much. It feels very complete, feels very magical. I'm excited because riding some of the other dark rides, I'm like, ooh, I hope they bring a little extra magic to these too, just to bring them a little bit more to life. But it just feels like a very full and complete attraction. The ending scene is beautiful. I don't want to give any spoilers, but beautiful. Just beautiful, very well done.
I agree with you that it was very well done. It felt longer than the previous attraction for some reason to me. Maybe it's because there was so much more to look at, and I felt like there was stuff going on. I love the projections they did through some of the parts like that. It felt like a full story. Mm-hmm. So what was the other attraction that we went on that we're like, this doesn't feel like a full story anymore?
So we were joking when we went to DCA and rode on The Little Mermaid.
Oh, yes.
And we're like, ooh, now this feels jarring at the end because it's just like, dun, 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 the end. It's like kiss the girl and boom, they're married. But so it was interesting having Snow be their complete, beginning, middle, end, complete story. How some other attractions now feel like, maybe we need a little bit more arcing. So next we headed over to Maurice's Treats. We were very excited because we got the cheddar bagel twists.
Yeah.
Yum. First of all, those are much larger than I thought
agree.
they were going to be. So that was a pleasant surprise. We also got boys and apple freezes. That was not my first time with a boys and apple freeze, but it's a great, refreshing treat for afternoon heat, especially.
It was very sweet. I just want to say that it was very sweet, but it was very good. I would drink it again.
It's perfect to share, in my opinion. We were a little bit bummed because we did want to try the Madeline Cookie Trio, but the cast member there said that they were sold out for the day. However, she said that they do restock every morning. For some reason, something got messed up with the shipments or something. For some reason, they had lower quantity that day than they normally did, so she was very apologetic and very kind. So we're going to try going back to see if we can grab the Madeline cookies later.
So then after that, it was cavalcade time.
Yes.
And we walked over, and they did kind of a short little cavalcade for the birthday. They did come up and they stopped about halfway up Main Street. We caught them in the hub. It was very cute. It was the Disneyland band and Mickey Mouse and some characters. The Disneyland band and the whole crowd sang Happy Birthday to Disneyland, which was really cute. It was good.
I think the most touching and most sweet part about it was we just happened to be in the perfect spot. I don't know how we managed that, but it was wonderful.
They stopped right in front of us.
We're going to pretend that was Disney magic. But they played the opening day speech, and Mickey kind of talked along, how Mickey talks, kind of went along with it as if he were speaking for Walt, and so it was very sweet, very emotional, very touching.
So like I said, we were discombobulated, so we finally decided, we're in the hub, let's start over for the day, and we decided that we're going to start over at the Tiki Room. Now, we were very, very excited because Maynard had been in the park. We walked by earlier when we were on the way to Galaxy's Edge, and he was there, and we have never experienced Maynard at the Tiki Room, and we were very excited for this. So he was there, but unfortunately, Teresa...
Spoiler alert, we still haven't experienced Maynard at the Tiki Room.
Yeah, Teresa and Kate both got front row seats to be able to experience him fully, and then he got everybody seated, and then they swapped people.
Yeah, so we're not sure if he was training someone or if it just wasn't his turn or what that was. We got the buildup was there, and then still, it's the Tiki Room. It's fantastic. The guy that we had was really great too. He was very fun. So. No worries. Next up, I think we headed over...
Wait. I do want to say one thing quick. I laughed because, of course, Teresa and Vern had not had much sleep. Vern totally took a nap through the Tiki Room.
Yes, poor Vern. Poor Vern. It was the dark and the cool and the fact that we'd been up for who knows how many hours at that point. Yes, Vern did take a little power nap.
I mean, it was good, though, because I don't blame him. It was very comfortable and nice in there. Of course, afterwards, we went and got on the Jungle Cruise with all of the new enhancements. Of course, producer Vern was very excited, so was producer James. They both loved that attraction. We actually, by happenstance, got the first skipper that Vern had ever had on the Jungle Cruise.
Yes.
Amanda Beth.
Amanda Beth.
And if you ever have Amanda Beth, she was amazing.
Fantastic. We are going to be putting a cast member card in for her because she is that great of a skipper. So much fun, so much energy. Really well done. The new scenes and the new additions to the attraction, we were very happy with because they fit very seamlessly, I felt. It wasn't very jarring, and it wasn't obviously this is where that was, and this is where this thing was.
There was actually a couple things that we had to ask each other, was that new? It was that good.
Yeah, it was fun. All the skippers, so we've been on it a couple of times now, so there is definitely new jokes, new spiels. They might feel a little repetitive because they are trying to kind of point out that they're new and do new things with it, but overall, really well done. The animatronics looked really great. I especially enjoyed Trader Sam's Lost and Found, gift shop at the end. I thought that was very fun.
Yeah, I enjoyed the end thing too. A lot of the stuff that they added, like I said, like you said, fit in perfectly. It seemed like everything was pretty seamless. The jokes were great. It was a good experience. After this, we went on Indiana Jones.
Yes.
And that had a longer wait, but this is where I get to go into my tirade and eat up most of my time here. So basically, there's no Fast Pass happening right now in the park. So everything is just standby. And I got to tell you, I actually like the fact that everything is standby because the line keeps moving, at least. And I thought it was nice in Indy to finally be able to, that area that people normally just walk on through and breeze on by quickly was something you could actually kind of pause and wait and get through, and I really, really enjoyed it. There were a couple downsides with Indy. One of them was the projection with Sala doing his little spiel was cut to the bare minimum because they were trying to move people through there.
And we love Solo.
And I think, Teresa and I think it was a timing issue, but we had a trouble with the boulder at the end. So we're hoping to go back and have a better experience of that later.
So, yeah, we're thinking it was a timing issue because we got paused towards the end of the darts room. And, of course, we're like, ooh, is this going to be the time? But that wouldn't have been a good place to have an in-show exit. But we kind of got paused in the dart room. I think they were helping someone get on and off their ride vehicle, which is totally cool. So then it was weird because then the timing was off because we got into the room with the final scene with Indy and the boulder. Indy didn't really talk to us, and then we kind of zipped under the not present boulder.
Yep.
So it was a little interesting, but you know what? It was something new.
Sure. So after Indiana Jones, we walked past Pirates of the Caribbean, but the line looked atrocious because it took up all of New Orleans Square. So we decided we were going to go to the Haunted Mansion, and this, I'm just going to let Teresa talk about this because it's definitely Teresa.
So some of you may have seen we did post a little kind of not very well done video of our experience.
What do you mean not well done?
Well, because we weren't prepared and we were so excited. So we get up to the Haunted Mansion and we are greeted by the cast member. We say hi, and he's like, "Are you here to ride the mansion?" We said, "Yes, of course." He said, "All right, well, I'll just have you just please go this way, go to the left." And then I take a couple of steps because, of course, it's the mansion. So I'm running ahead of the group to try and get there as fast as I can. So I'm halfway down the court, the way that he told me to go. And all of a sudden I hear him say, "And make sure you knock on the door." And I stopped because Tage was behind me. I just stopped and I looked at him. I said, Did he just tell us to knock on the door? And Tage's like, I think he did. So both Tage and I are in a frenzy of excitement. And we go rushing through. Tage gets his phone.
Luckily, I got my camera out to video this experience.
And it was so funny because I was just so excited. And I just rushed down. The door was propped open, so I didn't actually get to knock on the door. But I did say thank you to the cast member that was there with so we were able to go the side entrance. For those of you that don't know, there's when the park first opened, because of social distancing and because they couldn't get too many guests into the stretching rooms, they decided to open what's now called the servants' quarters. It used to be just an area for cast members. It's now been themed, though, but it's themed to, of course, the servants' quarters because you're kind of going in the back entrance.
And you have the stretching room portraits in there.
You do still have the
They don't stretch, but they're there.
But they're still there. So you kind of go down. It's just a stairway, and it's kind of a switchback stairway. They do have some fun theming in there, and where it dumps you out is actually right next to, right at the end of the hallway porch, the portrait hallway, right before the bus, before you then get onto your doom buggy. And I rushed through because I was just in a tizzy of excitement. I couldn't contain myself.
I was telling Teresa,
told me to slow down.
Slow down, so did Vern, but she just couldn't.
I couldn't contain it.
Yeah, so if you guys have a chance, go look at our Instagram. We have the video on there, and it was great. I'm so glad that Teresa got to experience that. I'm glad I got to experience it. Now, we did try since then a couple times, and it has not been open, so.
I don't think we've actually, we just have noticed that it's been blocked off, so I've decided that was my Disneyland birthday magic because it was totally unexpected. It wasn't something we had even requested or asked for, tried to see if a little extra magic could be made. It just happened. And the fact that, so the ride was at a 40-minute wait, I think, when we were approaching it. And so
we got right on.
We got right on. There was nobody in the portrait hallway. There was maybe 2 groups ahead of us to get onto the doom buggy. So we were in a nice, wide, empty space. Oh, it was beautiful. It was great.
So the mansion itself looks great, sounds great. Everything was awesome. They cleaned those scrims in the cemetery scene, so you could see so much. It seemed like the lights and stuff were brighter. It was just great.
I about just lost it because when we came around out of the attic, said hi to, of course, Hattie, the Hatbox Ghost. Right after Hattie, you can kind of see into the graveyard. Well, now you can actually see into the graveyard. I made some sort of noise, gasp, yell, I don't know. I made some sort of noise when I noticed this because I was just, again, so excited.
This was a very exciting quad-ship trip.
It was a very exciting trip. And then once we got down into the graveyard, again, super magical because they have brought our ghosts to life a little bit more. You can actually see a lot more spirits than you could before. So it was really fun. It was almost like you were experiencing it for the first time because there was just so many new details that I had never seen before. I loved it.
There's a dog in the background of the scene that I have never seen before, but I saw on this one.
The one that I noticed was actually one of the first spirits as you enter, and he's playing like the drums, but he's using 2 like femur bones to play the drums. Never had I seen him before.
I still don't think I've seen him.
Well, I guess we're just gonna have to ride again.
Apparently. So that was great. Of course, we decide at that point? Did we do Winnie the Pooh? Or did we go do...
yeah, we went to Winnie the Pooh.
Okay.
And then we went back to Pirates because we were going to do Splash.
So at this point, we left and we decided that we were going to look at the Splash Mountain line, but the Splash Mountain line looked crazy.
It was a very warm day.
So we decided to go over to Winnie the Pooh because James was excited for Winnie the Pooh. We rode Winnie the Pooh. Not a long wait. Got through, went into the candy store there on Pooh's Corner. That was great.
We were all dorks and, of course, had to turn and point and say hi to Max, Buff, and... I can't remember. Is Melvin?
Biff? Melvin.
So we had to say hi, of course, to Max, Buff, and Melvin, and we all got really excited. We're like pointing and turning around. It's kind of a good thing the honey things, what are those things called? Your beehives are spread out far enough so people weren't like, what are they doing? But
yeah, what is their craziness? So we left there, and finally we decided that we were going to go back and do Pirates. So we went back there. The line still seemed somewhat long, but we got in. I tell you, whatever they do to make that area smell like that, they had it dialed up to like 12 because we could smell it before we were even in the close part of the queue.
They were enticing us.
Yeah. Got in, of course, their air conditioning was amazing. Went through the attraction, saw that it looks like they had added some tables to Blue Bayou, but it was still less than it has been. We've heard that they have permanently removed some tables in there, which might be good, because when we were there, it did seem like it was really cramped when we were here for D23.
Yeah, we were talking about that because, for the experience that you want to have at Blue Bayou, it can be a little crowded because you've got a lot of tables there, so it's just not quite as nice and magical when you're kind of bumping into the table next to you. So I think it's great, and I think it's good that they've removed some tables. Now, don't remove it so that nobody can ever get a reservation and get there, but there's got to be a happy medium, a nice balance.
So then we went back and we ate at the French Market. I got the clam chowder, not bread bowl, but clam chowder soup with like a little bread thing on the side. We got the wedding cake.
So good.
What did you get?
So I got since it was so hot out, I wanted something more refreshing. So I ended up getting the Caesar salad, which has it's kind of like a spicy chicken. Very, very good. And yes, we also got the wedding cake. The wedding cake, yum. Yum. I don't remember off the top of my head what the flavors are, but it was like a sour cherry filling, vanilla cake, and vanilla buttercream, I want to say.
Sweet.
No, it wasn't. And the cake slices here are always so flavorful. They're always moist. They're, in my opinion, a great size to share because I always want one, but after eating a full dinner, it is a nice portion of cake. So Vern and I shared a piece. Tage and Kate shared a piece. Yum.
Kate and Vern both had the po' boy that was there, and they said it was pretty good. I'm a terrible person, and I can't remember if James had the gumbo or the jambalaya, but whichever it was very good. He liked it. They do have very large pieces of the peppers and the onions in there, so he kind of pulled some of those off to the side just because they were so large. But overall, very good. We were able to find a seat, not too bad. The mobile order was fairly quick once we checked in. We've been doing a lot of mobile ordering. After that, our Oga's reservation was up, and we got to go experience Oga's, which James also really enjoyed.
So yeah, we headed back to Batu to go say hi to our friend Oga. It was fun. It was fun. It was our third time, I think, going to Oga's.
Yep.
Oga's is fun.
Yes.
But, it's not something for me that I have to need to do every single time. But I think mostly we were mainly there because James had never been there. And Vern really enjoys it, too. So It was just a fun group thing to do together. A nice way to get inside, cool off. I had the Hyper Drive Punch It.
Oh, gosh. I had the Jamba Juice, I think, which is the same thing I had before because I really enjoyed it. I ordered 2 of the weird Jell-O, the Oga's Obsession, which is very good. It's Jell-O with, these boba balls in it. It's amazing. I will say that for those of you who have never been to Oga's or might be planning a future trip, what I would say is be aware that you will probably be seated at a table with others. I think that's something that some people aren't aware of. Because if you think back to the movie, they have these kind of big benches with the bigger tables, and that's kind of where they sit people. And unless you have a party of 10 or more, you're probably going to be sharing a spot with someone. Drinks were good. Service was okay. Of course, DJ Rex, amazing. I asked James what he thought of it. He said that it was amazing. He never thought he'd be sitting in a place that was the cantina from Star Wars. So the atmosphere and the idea of it was so cool to him. After that, we left Batu again for a little while because we had time before James's Savi's lightsaber appointment, and we went and rode the Matterhorn.
The Matterhorn we did it at a really fun time because it was like dusk.
Yes.
So very fun. Harold looks fantastic. We think he must have had a spa day while we were all away from the parks because he looked great.
He moved so much and so fluidly. It was great. The other thing, so that must have been part of what the refurbishment, because they were under refurbishment for a while. We also rode the side that I don't normally ride, because I normally ride the other side, because there was a dip section that I know that we didn't do this time. I really enjoyed it. I had a great time. It's bumpy and fun like normal. At that point, we kind of split off, and Teresa and Kate and Vern went to go do Space Mountain, and James and I went to our Savi's appointment. So do you want me to talk? I'll talk about Savi's quick. So at Savi's, we went over there, we checked in. James decided to do the elemental nature one. We waited there for a while. One of the things this trip that's been kind of unfortunate is every time we've had a reservation somewhere, whether it was Oga's or Savi's, or even like for food or coming back for like Web Slingers or something like that, it's been, we arrived when we were supposed to, but it ended up being about 15 or 20 minutes later before we actually got what we needed. So we waited out there for a little while. We eventually got into the thing. I asked James afterwards, I said, what did you think? Because we've been talking about him building a lightsaber for like 2 years now. And I said, was it as good as I explained it or made it out to be? And he said it was better, which that's saying something, because I spoke very highly of this.
And I'm sure you spoke about it a lot, too.
Yeah, I did. So after that, James and I went by the Millennium Falcon. I took some pictures of him with his lightsaber. I'll find out if it's okay from him for us to put that in the show notes so you guys can see. James very excited in Galaxy's Edge. And then we went over to try to get a good spot for the fireworks, and Teresa's going to talk about Space Mountain. Yeah,
so Vern, Kate, and I decided to head over to Space Mountain. Unfortunately, Space Mountain had been down for most of the day. It had gone down at some point and didn't come back up for quite a while. So when we went over there, did have, I want to say it was like a 70-minute posted wait, but it was one of those, this is Kate's last day here with us in Disneyland, and this is not an attraction that she usually gets to experience when she comes with her child. So we decided, why not? We don't have anything better to do. Let's just go. Let's hang out in the line. The sun had set at that point, so it wasn't like it was super hot and the sun was blaring down on us or anything. So it was fine. However, we did spend the entire time joking because the queue was not moving. I don't know why, but it was not moving. And so we were joking in Tage's absence. We're like, oh, isn't this wonderful? There's no fast pass. Here we are, enjoying this queue. Isn't this wonderful? Because it took us over the 70 minutes just to get in to the Space Mountain, like the actual attraction building, let alone how long it took for us to get on. Tage and James had finished building their lightsaber and were already on Main Street waiting for us before we even got on the attraction. So it was a very long wait. So yes, we did make a little fun at Tage's expense.
That's okay, because I still stand by that. With a couple exceptions that I'm sure, you just talked about one. There's another one we'll probably talk about on our next episode, that we had a couple really long waits, and so it would have kind of been nice to have like a fast pass situation. But overall, I still am sticking to my guns, and we'll be happy if fast pass doesn't come back, because I feel like the lines have been moving, at least moving. They've been long. Mm-hmm. Sure, you're waiting longer than maybe with a fast pass, but at least you're moving and doing something. So I've enjoyed that.
Oh, don't get me wrong. I think the lines have been much more enjoyable because you are, like you said, you've got the constant flow, the constant movement. However, it almost seems like there are a couple of attractions, our experience on Space being one of them, where for some reason it just wasn't flowing right. Yeah. And I don't know if that was the timing. I don't know what that was specifically. And like Tage said, we did have an experience like that. I'll just tell you, it was Radiator Springs Racers that also was like, wow, this is taking a long time. So there was a couple of times that, yes, we did have to wait longer than the posted times. However, overall, so far this trip, we have been going through attraction queues faster than what the posted wait times are, which is great.
I totally agree. We went and watched Mickey's Mix Magic, which is what's going on now. We unfortunately picked a poor spot on the street because where the big fireworks go off, there was a tree in the way.
Well, we got there late, so we were just happy we got a spot.
We did. But we could see the projections on Main Street really well, so that was a plus. The show's pretty fun. The music is kind of fun. It makes you want to dance. It's a little bit shorter of a show than, the previous ones that have been there that have been closer to 20 minutes. This one's more like a 12 to 15-minute show. It is fun, though. It does make, like I said, will make you want to dance. Everybody just seemed thrilled to be there and have fireworks again and be back in the parks after everything being closed for so long. So that was a lot of fun.
So I'll be honest with all of you. When we were planning our trip back, and then when they announced, fireworks are going to be back and this is going to be the show, I really wasn't too excited because I had not experienced Mickey's Mixed Magic. I'll say I was on the fence. I hadn't experienced it, so I didn't really know, but I hadn't heard a lot of good things. A lot of people like, it wasn't that great, or whatever. No. A ton of fun. I had so much fun. We were in the middle of Main Street, like Tage said, and we were just surrounded by the projections on the buildings. The music was pumping.
Snow.
They had snow and bubbles. So much fun. Even Let It Go, we were dancing along to, because it's your favorite. It's a lot of favorite songs, but they're not how you know them. They're kind of remixed. And of course, Grim Grinning Ghosts is one of the songs that they do, followed by Un Poco Loco. So that's the best part of the show, clearly. But it was a ton of fun.
So after the fireworks, we decided we had time for one more attraction, and so we said Jungle Cruise, and we ran over to the Jungle Cruise, and we did the nighttime show. Mm-hmm. The nighttime was great, too. I will say a couple of the new scenes in the Jungle Cruise were pretty cool because there are scenes with a sinking boat, and they turned the lights on like they would at night. Super cool. After that, everybody was kind of tired. Teresa and Vern, I think, went back to the room. James and I did go through kind of the shops on Main Street for a little bit, and then headed back to the hotel room.
Yes, at that point, Vern and I think we figured out we had been awake. Well, Vern took his power nap in the tiki room, but we had been awake for 22 hours. So I do want to apologize if anybody did come say, there were people that came and say hi. If I felt a little weird or distance, it was nothing against you. I never had caffeine that day. I don't know how I made it that whole day without caffeine.
I don't know how you did it either, because we tried to get you caffeine, and every time we looked at a place that sold coffee or something, the line was long. In Galaxy's Edge, you were going to go do the Docking Bay 7 drink, but the line did not move at all.
I stood in the line for 5 to 10 minutes, and it just didn't even move, so I just said, yeah, it's okay. Not going to happen.
We got our night of sleep, we got up the next day, and we came to Disney California Adventures. So for this trip, we've been doing Disneyland, DCA, Disneyland, DCA, Disneyland. And DCA was good. The line to get in was a lot shorter than it was for Disneyland. Of course, it was the day after the birthday, so I don't think it was quite as busy. It was a Sunday. So the first thing we did is we kind of started almost normal. We went to the right and we went on Soarin', which producer Vern didn't go on with us because he had just gotten coffee and they wouldn't let him to bring the drinks in. So he sat outside and drank his large, scalding hot coffee. Soarin' was good. Like always.
Soarin' was fun. Yeah, they were only filling the middle section when we were there.
That was
I think
strange.
Because it was maybe early and they didn't have enough people to fill the entire hang glider full of people. So it was nice because the center is it's a good perspective. And we were able to be the front row, so that meant we were the highest. So we didn't have the dangling feet overhead of us. It was fun.
After we got off Soarin', we kind of continued along the path there going through.
And I'll just say it, this is our first mistake. We walked past Grizzly River Run when it had a 5-minute wait. More on that later.
Yeah. The Redwood Creek Challenge Trail was closed again, which had just reopened, I think, last week. But we went past that, and we went on Little Mermaid because we came across that one next.
Back to the Redwood Creek Challenge Trail. We were talking about it because we were wondering, because it did just open back up, so we were like, okay, is this a normal refurbishment thing, or are we closed right now because they're installing Villains Grove for Oogie Boogie Bash?
Right.
Not sure how long that actually takes, but the timing just seemed interesting to us.
So we rode Little Mermaid, which was good as always.
Yeah.
It actually seemed like it was in the best shape I've seen it in a while. Everything was working. Everything looked great. Ursula didn't lose her head.
The one thing that I was really liked was when we got to the Under the Sea room. I don't know if you noticed this because we weren't in the same shell. But they spotlighted different characters at different specific times in the attraction. So, that Blowfish Blow, they had a spotlight on the Blowfish.
I did not notice that.
It was cool. And the lighting in there just seemed a lot nicer, crisper. It was plussed.
I will have to go back on it before we leave and check that out, I guess. After that, we, of course, went over and we did Goofy Sky School, which was, zany fun like always. Teresa was like, I don't know about this one because it just... Or was it Kate? Kate was, I don't know about this one. It was kind of knocking us back and forth.
Me a little bit too, because of all the attractions, something about those ride vehicles, I will sometimes get like bruises because you like fling over to the side, so like the bar is kind of on the side of one of your legs. So yeah, but I didn't get bruised. I was very proud of myself.
We continued to walk along Pixar Pier. We skipped Emotional Whirlwind and stuff over there. And we ended up getting onto the Incredicoaster, which was almost felt like a walk-on. It was very quick. Looks good. Was nice to have the cool breeze of the wind in our face as we were on the attraction. The Incredicoaster is always a good time.
Yes. After we got off the Incredicoaster, we went over to Lamplight Lounge because we had reservations for brunch. So we were able to sit in the bottom part. So we were sitting actually right next to the water. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. I had the Sea Witch drink, which I was very, very excited about. Super pretty, very delicious. It's a nice amount of like sweet and tart that it wasn't too much, and you didn't also want to like suck it down too fast. So it was great.
Scale of 1 to 10, what do you rate it?
Oh, I don't know. I'd say for me probably like a 7 or an 8.
Okay.
Very nice, very refreshing. So the other thing I had was the potatoes flautas, and instead of so it is a vegan dish there. Very good, very, very good. The only substitution I did was instead of the no dairy crema, I did ask for the I don't even remember what it was a Serrano sour cream that was on one of the other dishes. So I did substitute the sour cream. Very good. It had a lot more of a kick than I thought. It had a plant-based chorizo with it too. Yum. I actually almost liked it better than regular chorizo. I will concur
because I tasted your plant-based chorizo and I thought it was really good. I love chorizo.
The spicing was great. The I don't know. I don't want to say texture, but I guess like the texture and feel of it was great. And the best part, it wasn't greasy. Because, I love chorizo, but it can get a little greasy sometimes. But very, very good. I would highly recommend it. I'm definitely going to get that dish again.
I can't remember the name of it, but it was kind of like an egg bake thing that had salmon on it, and I thought it was really good. My only critique with it is that I wish that it would have had a little bit more salmon, or I would have divvied it up in my dish a little bit better. It came with this side of potatoes that were amazing. They're not Riverbell Terrace potatoes amazing that I've always ranted about, but these were really close. So I got the 2319 drink, which was really good. At some point, we ordered the mimosa flight because we saw somebody else had it, and it looked kind of fun.
Yes.
My favorite one was the watermelon.
Yes, and I think my favorite actually was the grapefruit. So on the flight, it does change out, so they don't actually tell you like on the menu what it's going to be. But we had like a mango one.
Yep.
We had the watermelon one, like Tage said. There was also like an orange with ginger one, and then also, like I said, my favorite there was a grapefruit one that we had as well.
Yeah, I liked the watermelon one because it tasted the most like watermelon than almost anything that I've tasted before. And I didn't really taste the champagne. It was just kind of bubbly. I'm going to butcher this, but Kate and James had the chilaquiles, I think is what it was, and they really enjoyed that. It was kind of like a nachos almost, but
like a breakfast nacho bowl.
Breakfast nacho. Very good. They seemed to really enjoy that. So after we left the Lamplight Lounge, it was time for us to head over and show up for our Web Slingers reservation, which...
talk about perfect timing.
Right? I will say entering Avengers Campus was super awesome. We just barely missed Spider-Man flying through the air. If it would have been 30 seconds later, we would have seen him. Well, I did see a part of him. More on that later, but was really cool. Avengers Campus, I will say, is larger than I expected it to be, but still fairly small, I guess.
Kate and I kind of made this game while we were waiting for Web Slingers. So if you haven't done the boarding group for Web Slingers, what you do is you do check in, but then you still you end up waiting in a queue. And our queue actually was extended into a backstage area, so we waited in the queue for a little while. But anyways, we were kind of playing a game while we were standing there, trying to remember, okay, pretend this is Bugs Land. Where are we in Bugs Land? So we were trying to remember what sections of Bugs Land were where and what it was now. It was kind of interesting and fun. We do need to find an old Bugs Land map to compare to see how close we were.
The queue for web slingers is nothing to write home about, I think. We wrote it again today when we're recording this, and I said it felt like a universal line.
Yeah.
Like there wasn't a ton of theming out there. It just seemed very industrial. We ended up going, we got into the pre-show room where Tom Holland / Peter Parker comes out and talks to you, and then we were kind of sitting there for a while, and it turns out the attraction was not working properly. So we ended up sitting in there about 30 to 40 minutes.
Was it that long?
It was very long.
Wow.
But it was the reason it didn't feel that long is we had tons of stuff in that room to look at, which was awesome. There was a potato shooter and a bunch of other stuff. Eventually we got... Oh, go ahead.
The potato shooter was my favorite because there was a little sticky note on it that said, pew, pew, pew.
Well, and then later in the queue... It said, like, it's been so many days since a potato shooter incident or something. But anyway, so after you get out of that room, there's really not a long wait till you're actually at the attraction vehicle. Oh, my goodness. You're talking about an arm workout. My arms were very sore right after this attraction. I will say, video does not do this attraction justice. So if you've watched a YouTube video and already made up your mind, throw that information out of your head because this was a lot more enjoyable than I anticipated it would be.
I will be honest, it is very similar, though, to Midway Mania. Instead of having a gun that you're aiming, you're just aiming your hands. But it was fun to, like, shoot the webs out. Now, does it look like the webs are slinging and coming right out of your wrist? No. But it was fun to it was pretty accurate as to where you'd fling your web and then it would appear on the screen. So that was pretty fun. I shocked myself. I don't know how I managed to do this, but the first time we did it, I ended up with some crazy high score. I don't remember what it was. So I don't know, and nor do I know how I did it. I was also very excited that I had purple webs that I was slinging. So everybody in your ride vehicle is assigned a different color. So it's not just all these white webs kind of flying all over the place. So mine were purple. I think there's orange, blue, and red, I believe, are the colors.
Yeah, that sounds right, if I remember right. Yes, this was a lot of fun. There are some things that you, I consider advanced. One of the things you can do, which I never got to work because I don't know how to do it, is you could fling a web at, a box or a crate, and you're supposed to be able to, grab it and fling it.
Yeah.
I wasn't able to. The other pro tip was, and we realized this about halfway through the first time we went through it, is the different colored bots are worth different point values. So the little red ones that you see everywhere are worth 100 points or something.
Which is kind of like Midway Mania.
Yes, exactly
there's,
like Midway Mania.
Higher point things that are hidden. However, Midway Mania it flat out tells you this dish or this duck or whatever is worth more points than this whatever it is, balloon, whatever. So that was a little, we didn't notice that until the end. The other thing that I want to kind of warn everyone about, unlike Midway Mania, the first scene that you go into that you're able to start flinging your webs is not like a practice scene. No, you're live. You're helping Spider-Man right away. So you just kind of just fling away, just go. You're fine. But so I was a little, because I thought it was a practice scene, and then suddenly oh no, we're going.
Points.
So you don't get that test.
Overall, I would give Web Slingers a 7 or an 8 out of 10, I would say.
Oh, that's pretty high. I was going to go 6 or 7.
Yeah, so maybe a 7. We'll combine our scores. Maybe a 6 or a 7 is pretty good. Afterwards, we went over to Pim Test Kitchen.
Oh, yes.
And I was able to get the panini that I've been talking about at length. The panini was smaller than I expected it to be, but I thought the taste was very good. It was about what I expected it to taste. The side salad thing on the side was okay. Kate got the peanut butter drink thing, and it was not good. I would not recommend it.
Yeah, it was interesting. The taste on the front of it was good, but then there was some weird back second aftertaste that was just whoo, too much. I think the liquid is supposed to be jelly flavored. They had these little peanut butter. They're almost like malted milk ball type things that were on top, and then a flavored whipped cream. We think the flavored whipped cream is almost like a cinnamon sugar kind of a whipped cream. We're not 100% on that. I suppose we could look it up to be for sure, but that was what it tasted like for us. I got the Caesar salad there. Apparently I was on a salad kick the first 2 days.
Well, it was so hot, was your reasoning.
Yeah, my reasoning was that it was hot, so I wanted something cooler. The Caesar salad, I don't think I'd get it again. It was good in flavor, but the hard thing was it was served on the same tray as everything else from Pim's Test Kitchen. It was served on a metal tray. They have this paper. It almost looks like, I don't know, like a sketch thing from Scott from Ant-Man. But because it was a salad and you're trying to eat this salad, and it's a wedge salad, so you have to it's half of a Roman a
romaine lettuce,
a romaine lettuce head on your plate. It did have a giant crouton, which was fun, and tiny croutons, which were adorable. But it was really hard to eat with the plastic cutlery. The paper that was under it was getting really soggy, so it was hard to keep the paper out of your salad. So it just wasn't very easy to eat. Now, Vern and I did also get the not-so-little chicken sandwich. That, on the other hand, wonderful. That was great.
Now,
the breading, so good. There was sauce, yum.
Now, producer Vern did argue with this because he did not like the bun to chicken ratio.
In his defense, I don't think he realized that was going to happen. I just told him that I was ordering the salad and a chicken sandwich and we were going to share it. So I think he was expecting a regular chicken sandwich and not a Pim Kitchen sandwich with a tiny bun and a giant piece of chicken. But it was very good.
James ended up getting the PB3, I think, whatever it was, and he said it was pretty good. Overall, very happy.
Yes.
Before our trip is over, in fact, today is our last day at DCA when we're recording this, I plan on getting another Pimini sandwich because I thought it was great. After this, we went over to Monsters, Inc., which... Did you know there was an extended queue to this?
No, I did not know there was an extended queue for Monsters, Inc., Mike and Sully to the rescue, because every time I've done it, it's been practically walk-on. But guess what? There's an extended queue for Monsters, Inc. So we did have a little bit of a wait for that, which even was fine. We were trying to digest our food a little bit before moving on. The attraction seemed the same to me. It didn't seem like there was anything that stood out more, kind of like some of the other attractions were like, oh, wow, this looks much better. Oh, wow, some of the attractions, it seemed like they had turned the sound up quite a bit.
It's been very loud.
Pirates was one of those attractions where the sound was, it seemed like, turned up a notch. But it was fun. Very cute.
I also want to say that I know that's probably been there forever, but there was one of the 2319 biohazard people that I did not ever see coming out of the ground, and I was but that was fun. After this, we of course went over to Teresa's favorite thing.
Yes, we headed on over to the Animation Academy, and we didn't actually take a peek at, because of course those of you that have gone, there's a schedule for the day, and it says that this time you can learn to draw this character, this time you can learn to draw that character. We didn't look ahead; we just decided to head on over and see who we got. Well, it was actually Artist Choice, which I'd never been present for Artist Choice before. So we had a little game in the beginning while we were sitting there waiting to get in, and we're like, okay, who do you think the choice is going to be? I think who you chose. You wanted it to be.
I wanted it to be Miguel.
Miguel. I really wanted Hector. I can't remember who everyone else said. I just remember those two. Anyway, so we got in, and he was giving us the artist was giving us these little hints. He's like, well, it's a Pixar character. It's a Pixar character that everyone, loves or something. And then he said something like, because we just had the new PhilharMagic, we forgot to talk about PhilharMagic. We'll get back to that, though. Because, we're celebrating the new scene in PhilharMagic. It is a Coco character. And it was Hector. We got to learn
Teresa
how
was so
to
happy.
I was over the moon happy. I just needed more time because apparently I'm either a slow drawer or our animator was a very fast teacher, but I didn't get all of my shading and everything done for poor Hector. So he's a half-finished Hector, but I'm still very happy with him.
Yeah, I think they turned out really well. The Animation Academy is always fun. I agree with you that the guy seemed like he was a little fast, but otherwise, I thought it was pretty good. We, at some point during the day, apparently we've gotten out of order now, we went and saw Mickey's PhilharMagic, which was good. They really worked the new Coco scene in. I couldn't even tell you what was there before or what, but it was good. I felt like, I don't know, I'd seen it the last time we were back for D23, and for some reason I just thought the whole presentation in general was better this time, and I'm not sure why.
So this time, I feel, to me, how do I want to say this? To me, the Coco scene seemed to tie it together a little bit better than before. It was fun to see all the different scenes and the different bits, but for some reason that just kind of filled it out a little bit more, and I think that's why it just felt richer. Sure.
I would recommend going on this attraction for sure. So after that, we went over to Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout, and we got on that. We forgot another attraction there, but let's go through this since we're right there. We're at the parks, guys. I mean, all of it's blurring together. You know how it is Disney days. We're like Disney drunk. But anyway, so we went on Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout. Unfortunately, it seemed like they were having a little bit of technical problems because it looked like they had one of the gantry lifts wasn't working.
Yeah.
And then it came back up, but then another one went down. Luckily for us, ours didn't go down, and we were able to ride it. I enjoyed it better this time, and I think it was because it was a more mellow song for us, and it didn't seem as jarring. Plus, I knew what to expect, so I wasn't freaking out this time.
I was very proud of Tage. He actually he wasn't death gripping and shoving himself in the back corner like he was when we were here for D23. He had his hands up, doing a little bit of dancing. There was one time he had both hands up.
Yes, I had both hands up, and as the car started to fall, I could not find my handle, and I yelled to Teresa, "I've lost my handle!" But I found it.
It was so funny. It was so fun. So that was... that was our second to last attraction for the night, because I believe after Guardians, we ran back to catch the Incredicoaster to have that as our final attraction for the night. So we did get to experience the Incredicoaster at night. You know, to me, honestly, it's fun during the day, right? But at night is when it really comes to life for me, because you can really see what's happening and really get to enjoy and experience the different tunnels.
Yeah, this attraction, if you ride it during the day, definitely go back and ride it at night because, like Teresa said, the tunnels, in fact, the one that there's like fire in the tunnel, I could not see that at all during the day. And then for the launch, Dash runs next to you and like water spets up, so it's like he's running next to you. During the day, unless you're like looking for it and you're on that side, you can't see it. But at night, it's lit up red, which was super cool. And just in general, like stuff's so cool at night. You know me, I love Disneyland stuff at night. The one thing we did not talk about, at one point in the middle of the day, we went to Grizzly River Run, and we made the mistake, like Teresa said earlier, we should have gone when the line was a lot lower. We went, and the line was posted at, 80 minutes?
I think it was like 60, and it kept climbing as we were in it.
So it broke while we were in line because everything stopped, but we didn't want to leave because we had been standing in line already maybe 10 or 15 minutes. It did come back up. We did eventually get on it. We got okay wet. It wasn't like last time with the geyser.
Right. I think the geyser was broken, actually, because while we were standing in our very, very long, very slow-moving waits, this was another one that was like, well, if only, maybe this would be okay for a fast pass, because there's not a lot to look at in that queue. Same thing with when you're in the Space Mountain queue and you're in that outdoor section. Queues they seem to take, it seems like an eternity when you're not moving and when there's nothing to look at. And so, unfortunately, both of those attractions have that kind of going against them, especially because both of them were utilizing their extended queues. But yeah, I don't think the geyser was working. However, we did have a fun group with us that was having just as much fun as we were, and we were all laughing, and it was just a ton of fun.
Yeah, it was a ton of fun. Of course, producer Vernon took a bunch of pictures and stuff, and the group we were with was totally cool getting in the pictures with us and everything. It was definitely something needed because, like we said, it was very warm. So if you're coming this summer, be ready for it to be warm. Bring a hat for sure. Bring sunscreen. Mm-hmm. Be ready that it's gonna be warm. Obviously, one of the cast members also told us that we're kind of in a weird time frame right now, where some schools have just gotten out and other schools are about ready to go back in. So like, there's this timing where like everybody's off school, so that's why it's a little bit busier. Of course, it was also the birthday. It's also, we're coming out of the pandemic, so many people are just trying to go and do something, and they want to get back to the parks. So I've also noticed that it seems like there's a lot more, and I think this might be because the parks were closed, people have been able to save during the pandemic, because I've seen a lot more larger families here this time.
Which is great, which is really great. One thing that I want to mention, too, that we started on day 2, I think I was sleep-deprived day 1, so I kind of forgot about it. So unfortunately didn't start till day 2 in DCA. But we have been continuing it through the trip as we decided that we wanted to spread a little bit of DL Weekly Disney magic for our listeners and for other park guests. So we actually have these fun little pins that say official weekly tier, and they have the DL Weekly logo on them that we've been hiding around the resort. If you follow our Instagram or our Facebook, I believe for sure Instagram it's been posted, maybe Facebook, I don't remember. Anyways, we've been posting little hints as to where they're hidden. We did have a couple of listeners find them, which was very exciting. It wasn't, it's great that maybe some park guest finds them, but it's even more fun when it's a listener that found it too. So if you're in the parks, make sure you're following our Instagram. We will be hiding more things the rest of today, which now is Tuesday for us. And,
this won't go live till tomorrow.
Oh, that's right. So we've hidden some stuff. So keep a lookout. Look at the hints. Tons of fun.
One other thing that I think is important is what has been key for us to get boarding groups the last few days.
Oh, yes.
Is to have all the tickets you need in your app. Make sure you're signed in. Be on the boarding group screen, and what I found works best is there's a screen where you can select Disneyland or California Adventure. Whatever park you're trying to get the boarding group for, be in the other park tab. And what I've done is I have an Apple Watch, and one of the things I can do is I can do the time with the seconds. But if you have another clock that can do the seconds, have that in front of you, and the second it turns 7 a.m. or 1 p.m. if you're doing the afternoon one, hit the other thing, it'll pop up, hit join group, hit done, and then you'll get a boarding group. So we have successfully gotten boarding groups every day because of that.
Yeah, and so the reason that you start on, so say you're trying to get a Rise of the Resistance pass, the reason that you start on DCA, I know it feels a little confusing and like, well, that doesn't make any sense. The reason you sit on the DCA page is because by joining the Disneyland page right at 7, it refreshes the page for you that instant. So you don't have to be sitting and finding a refresh button and hoping. So you can just join the queue that way.
Yeah, so definitely that has worked for us each time. We've been in like the pretty low numbers for a lot of things. We end up getting on things by about noon every day. Has been how it's been working out for us. So definitely recommend that. We've been, as of this recording, we've been on Rise of the Resistance twice, and we've been on Web Slingers twice.
Yes.
And we're trying for Rise again tomorrow, which will be today when you guys hear this podcast.
So anyways, we're having, of course, a very wonderful time. We did not mention that also Sunday we had our weekly tier, official weekly tier meetup. So we got to meet all sorts of different weekly tiers from some of them like local, some of them were traveling from different states and happened to be here. It was a ton of fun. If you were there, thank you so much for coming. If you weren't able to be there, we get it. We understand. We missed you too, but maybe you'll hit up the next one. But I just want to say thank you to all the weekly tiers that have stopped us to say hello, that came to the meetup. We've been having an absolute blast, and I hope that all of you have as well.
Yes, thank you guys. It was nice meeting some of you that we haven't met before. It's always fun meeting people who listen to the show and just sharing our enthusiasm for the parks together in the same place, especially being at the magical place on Earth.
Yes.
We did hang out a little bit with a couple weekly tiers as well. So if you ever see us in the parks or whatever, we're happy to probably do an attraction or two with you. That's been a lot of fun and enjoyable, and also just being able to talk to people who live locally and can talk about how they come to the park and everything. So also, just to remind everybody, thank you guys so much, because without your support, if you are a supporter at DLWeekly.net/support, you guys have really helped us to be able to come out and do these types of trips, to report on stuff for you. Obviously, we take time out of our trips to record these podcasts and to do a bunch of social media and stuff, because we want to make sure that it feels like you guys are here with us. So thank you so much for making it possible for us to be able to do that and continue the podcast every week.
One last thing before we wrap up, for those of you that are Jungle Cruise fans, they do have a very fun Dole Whip Sunday that you get this great boat with. It's a Jungle Cruise boat. They did still have that when we had it. We had it on Monday, so they did still have boats in stock. It's been nice. I kind of think this is going to sound maybe a little bad, but I think because we don't have annual passes and you have to have your reservations, I don't think we're getting the gobs of people that kind of flood to get this special merchandise to buy it up so that it's not here for normal park goers. So that was a great deal. It was $25. It was enough for us all to share. Wonderful.
Yeah, it's like you said, Teresa, I think that there is a lot of that like merchandise. There was some limited edition, the Magic is Back stuff that was still there, no problem. So it's been great.
Just in general, I've noticed a lot of limited edition things that I'd seen reported on weeks ago that I figured wouldn't be something that we'd be able to purchase while we were here, that's still available. So in that, that's been really nice and kind of a pleasant surprise for that.
Another tip that we found out, just to tell you guys, if you are a local, a Southern California or a California resident, and you have a ticket that is less than 5 days, like Community Manager Kate had this situation. She had a 2-day ticket, and she was able to go to the ticket booth outside and for $14 add a third day, because they're doing that ticket deal where if you're a Southern, or whether you're a California resident, you get How 3
It's a
days?
3-day ticket. Mhm.
Anytime between now and the end of September, so it's not that normal 14-day window that you have to use all your days. So if you have a ticket and you're still on a day that you're using it, you can always upgrade to that.
So that was pretty cool to have a 2-day ticket to upgrade to 3-day for only $14.
Yeah.
Super great deal.
So next week, we will have the second half of this talk. We'll talk about our second day at Disneyland, our second day at DCA, and our last day at Disneyland, which we haven't had yet. We will have that for our next week.
Psst, avast there. It'd be too late to alter course, mateys. And there be trivia questions lurking in every cove, waiting to be answered. Listen close and keep your ruddy Disney knowledge handy. That be the best way to answer correctly. And mark well me words, mateys. Dead men tell no tales. You come seeking questions and long-lost Disney information, eh? Sure, you come to the proper place. But keep a weather eye open, mates, and hold on tight, with both hands, if you please. There be squalls ahead, and James and Vern waiting for them what don't answer correctly.
All right, welcome back to Trivia Land. We've got some good questions for you tonight, I hope. At least I'm excited for them.
I hope they're good questions.
I hope they're good too.
I feel good about these questions. I did some research of my own, and I got some listener stuff, and I'm excited. This is going to be good stuff.
When you get excited, do you get excited because you think you're going to stump us, or you get excited because you just think the questions are good in general?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, gosh.
So
see.
let's get started. First, we've got a question from listener Matthew J. What is the name of the kinetic sculpture that replaced the rocket jets?
The kinetic
The
sculpture?
Orbitron.
Oh, yeah. Good one, Tag. I had to, remind myself what that, the kinetic structure,
Because I love the
I always
monorail, and it was
forget
part of the
that's-
monorail
I
spiel
always forget that that's there.
that used to come alive with lights and sounds every 15 minutes, as they would say in the spiel of the monorail.
So is that your final answer?
I love that you
Yes.
even know the spiel.
Yeah, it's the monorail. I love the
The
monorail.
Orbitron.
That is our final
It sounds
answer. I think.
it just, I don't know. It just sounds so almost scary, like the Orbitron. I don't know.
Like it's going to be that robot from the Incredibles that come and kill everybody.
Yeah, something like that. It's like,
Your second question. One attraction at Disneyland opened up on the anniversary of the park's opening just several years later. Which one?
I mean, I feel like there's a few.
is it opened at the park, or open for the first time ever, or specifically at the park?
To the best of my knowledge, it's first time ever,
Okay.
and at Disneyland.
I thought it was maybe Small World. That's why I asked specifically.
Oh,
the park.
sure. Several years later. I have to be careful because I'm because I'm thinking of new things, but it's not a new thing. July 17th.
Can we get a hint? Is the attraction still there today?
The space still exists and is still used in the same manner.
Well,
Must be a theater.
was it the subs?
No?
And to my knowledge, it has not yet been rethemed.
Okay. July 17th.
But there are plans of a retheming.
Oh my god.
God, I
you're
just
making
totally
this-
gave it away, though.
Well, it's probably something in Tomorrowland. Maybe.
Or maybe I didn't just give it away.
Did Splash Mountain open on July? No.
No. What were all of your clues that you didn't mean to give us?
What's that?
I said, what were all the clues that you...
No, I'm not
accident-
re-giving the clues. Once you've been given the clues, you can't be re-given the clues. That's just silliness.
Something in Toontown, maybe? I'm and Disneyland, right? It's in Disneyland?
In Disneyland,
I'm embarrassed that we don't know this. I have no idea. My first thought was Small World for who knows what reason. I thought Small World opened at the park on the park's anniversary. But he said that it was the first time it opened, period. So that takes me away from Small World. But that was the only thought I had was Small World.
I'm going to kick myself, but I'm just going to throw out like something ridiculous that I'm sure isn't right. But I'm going to say Sailing Ship Columbia.
Why not? Why not? Because the Mark Twain was their opening day.
I like how you were going to write down answers and you have not written anything down.
Orbitron.
Okay, so is that your final answers?
Yeah, they're really bad.
What
but
did
yeah.
you say?
The Sailing
Small
Ship
World?
Columbia and Small World?
Okay.
Okay.
I don't think they're right, but they're answers.
Your third question.
It was like
Where
the keel. Oh no, the keel bolts aren't there anymore.
Where can you find a crate marked "Deliver to Club Obi-Wan"?
Oh, that's in Indiana
it's
Jones.
in the Indiana
adventure.
Jones queue.
In Indy's office.
Yep, in Indy's office. Actually, it's pretty easy to spot.
Mm-hmm. You know what else? What other crate is around there? One of my favorite Jungle Cruise jokes. You guys want to see some danger? And then it's on
Right
one of the
there.
crates there, and he says, right there.
Nice.
You've heard that one before, haven't you, Vern?
I don't recall specifically. I might have missed that one.
Yeah, it also gets like shuffled in with the other joke that I really like in that area, because it's right at the queue for Indy, where they say, like, there's, what was it, like one of the most dangerous species in the thing,
Oh,
humans
yes,
or whatever.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
People.
So is that your final answer on
Yes.
that one? Okay.
The queue of Indiana, in the queue of Indiana Jones.
In his office.
Specifically the office.
Your fourth and final regular question before the bonus from listener Jill M. The United States Disneyland Mad Tea Party is different from the Magic Kingdom and Tokyo Disney because we don't have which character occasionally popping up from a teapot in the center.
The mouse.
The
The
dormouse,
dormouse.
right? We also don't
Which
have...
is super cute. We don't have a
canopy.
cover. Yeah.
Is that your final answer?
That's
Yes.
our final answer. But yes, we're missing the dormouse.
I like that we don't have the canopy because I like the lanterns and the
I really,
stuff.
I mean, it makes sense that the other locations
Yes.
do have the canopy. I do wish that they could maybe put the dormouse somewhere, like maybe have just like not the big teapot
Yeah.
in the middle like the other attractions do, but maybe just have like maybe on like the controller panel or something,
Or
have,
above the
like-
little hut that's there, yeah.
yeah, something. Put a teapot out with the dormouse somewhere. I think
Yeah.
would be great.
And for your bonus question from listener Chris M. Between the New Orleans Square Station and the Toontown Depot, there is a doghouse adjacent to the railroad tracks. There's a name on this doghouse. What is that dog's name?
Oh my goodness.
Wow, I didn't even know there was one. Okay, say that again. Between Toontown and where?
New Orleans Square Station.
So, as you leave New Orleans Square, go through Splash Mountain, go over Winnie the Pooh, go behind the Hungry Bear. You do that little the murder beavers.
The murder beavers. I feel like it's kind of behind, like after you go past the Rivers of America is where I feel like it would be. Ooh.
I don't know either, so I'm just going to throw out that it's like Rex or Rover.
I was thinking Fido,
Fido?
which is very boring too, but wow, that's a good one.
I'm going to say Rex, but I don't
So-
think I'm right.
Is that your final answer, Rex?
Yes.
And Teresa, you said
Fido.
Fido.
Yeah, because I'm not very creative tonight.
Okay.
I don't think it'd be like I don't think it'd be a Disney dog.
No.
Like I don't think it'd be Pluto or anything.
No.
All right. Well, listeners, how do you think they did? How did you do listening at home? Keep listening to find out.
And now it's time to return to producer Vern to get the answers to this week's trivia. So, how
Our tails
terrible
are
did we do?
between our legs because this is bad.
You know, you started so strong. You came out of the gates just roaring, and you were doing great. Well, okay, you kind of started strong. Well, you
Then
hit it
we went-
really good in the middle, and then you flopped it.
I don't know.
Anyway, let's see how you did.
We
How's that
think we could as we went up, and then we were doing really well on the way down, and then we derailed.
Yes, kind of. Yeah. So, your first question, submitted by listener Matthew J. What is the name of the kinetic sculpture that replaced the rocket jets? You both answered the Orbitron. What we were looking for was Observatron.
Oh! So close.
Very close.
I think the Orbitron sounds better.
Your
Well, you know
second-
why they created that, right? That's literally using the mechanism that was
Yeah.
the rocket jets
Yeah.
from before.
Yeah.
They're like,
They just
we'll
kind
just
of,
put
like-
some stuff on it.
Yep, they kind of just repurposed.
The second regular round question. One attraction at Disneyland opened on the anniversary of the park's opening just several years later. Which one was that? You both hesitantly agreed on the sailing ship Columbia. The answer that I was looking for, opening in 1989, Splash Mountain.
Oh!
Dang it!
Didn't I say Splash
we talked
Mountain?
ourselves out of it.
You
I thought
talked
it was
yourselves
like,
out
I thought
of
it
it,
was the
and
beginning
the
of
hints
July.
that I gave and then I didn't repeat was I said it
it's
still
still
exists and it's in the process of being reformatted,
Yeah.
or it will be reformatted.
We can
I started
edit all
talking
that out
far
of the
too much about
podcast
it.
because we kind of you were mumbling. We couldn't really hear you. So
Oh, like his hints?
Yeah.
Maybe. Well, it sounded like mumbling to us, but in the microphone, I'm sure it came up fine.
yeah, but then it's not really hints for like. Then they're probably like,
I heard
"Why
what
are
he
you
said.
such idiots?"
I heard what he said.
Oh. Apparently, I was thinking too hard.
I mean, this is what happens in trivia. I think you start thinking about the answer and you kind of tune everybody out.
I do. I start thinking about
Yeah.
the answer before it's done, and I'm like, stop doing that because I was doing that on the dog thing. I'm like, where is that? Where is it? Oh.
Yeah.
It's okay. And your third regular round question, where can you find a crate marked Deliver to Club Obi-Wan? Both of you get in the correct answer right away, knowing that that was in the Indiana Jones Adventure queue. Very good job there. And your fourth and final regular round question, submitted by listener Jill M. Our Mad Tea Party is different from the Magic Kingdom and Tokyo Disney because we don't have which character occasionally popping up from a teapot in the center, and that was, you were correct, the Dormouse.
Am I crazy?
So
Is it always
cute.
just been the Dormouse? Why did I think he had a name?
I don't know.
To my knowledge, he's always just been Dormouse.
Weird.
Yeah. And your bonus question, submitted by listener Chris M. Between the New Orleans Square Station and the Toontown Depot, there is a doghouse adjacent to the railroad tracks. There is a name on the doghouse. What's the dog's name? With guesses of Rex and Fido, you were both wrong.
Oh, who would have ever thought?
The correct answer that we were looking for was Indiana. A reference
they
to
named the dog Indiana.
Yes. Yes, if I had a good Sean Connery impression, I would
named the
say
dog
the dog's
Indiana.
name was Indiana. Yeah. Yep. And interestingly, George Lucas has an Alaskan Malamute named Indiana. Nobody really knows if that's related or not. So I had to give you both an incorrect on that one.
That's okay.
Way incorrect.
Yep. So
I'm gonna have to pay attention to this doghouse next trip.
Well, I've only ridden the train once since the new thing has been there, so I'm excited to be the first thing we do because you were
go.
saying that that's what you wanted to do.
So, listeners, how do you think they did? How did you do listening at home? Do you think you've got the great questions that are going to really stump them next time? If you think you got some good ones, feel free to send those to us at trivia@dlweekly.net.
We hope that you enjoyed the sounds of Radiator Springs racers racing in the background, as well as Flo's cafe music. Hopefully you weren't hearing the metal chairs drag across the ground too much. We'll do our best to clean that up. But thank you. We're going to go out and enjoy the parks.
Please remain seated until the podcast comes to a complete stop and the doors have opened. Then collect your belongings, watch your head, and step carefully from the episode. On behalf of all of our crew, thanks for traveling with us. And we hope you have a happy and memorable visit here at DL Weekly.